Over the last 30, 40 years, Quincy has gone through a resurgence. I'm the founder and CEO of QUBIC Labs, and QUBIC Labs hosts Boston Blockchain Week.
Awesome. And so what is QUBIC Labs?
So QUBIC Labs is a tech accelerator program. We were founded in 2019, and the idea was about building an ecosystem of founders and startups to build economy around. So mostly around emerging tech. We started with a value proposition around financial, government, and civic technology, but quickly found a space that we could support blockchain and digital assets.
Very exciting. And we're here on Kilroy Square, which for those who don't know, especially in Canada, is in South Boston in an area called Quincy, which is really pretty. A lot of red brick, like we see in places like Toronto or Montreal as well. What is this locale here? What is Quincy known for? And you know, what is the relationship with blockchain other maybe than you?
Yeah, no, thank you. That's a great question because Quincy is known for its history. So we, are essentially famous for having two of the presidents of the United States from Quincy, John Adams and John Quincy Adams, the second and sixth presidents of the United States. And well, that's a big deal because this is a place where American innovation has taken place. So I just actually started reading a book on John Adams by David McCullough. And in that book, can you imagine, a couple miles from here is the shoreline in Boston Harbor, which essentially when you go out into the larger Massachusetts Bay, you're heading out to Europe, okay?
Oh, I still have to go and check that out.
Right. So can you imagine having British ships during the Revolution anchored out in that harbor, and we here on land being threatened by such activity, right? So that's kind of thinking about like the history of Quincy. And I guess if you go a little bit further along, we had a historical shipyard here. So General Dynamics had a big shipyard here, which powered a lot of, of course, like families lived here. They made their homes here. Retail businesses were thriving. And then they built the ships for the World Wars, so World War I, World War II. And in, sort of the advent of losing that type of industry and economy, which is a story of many Main Street in America and I'm sure Canada as well, it leaves sort of a gaping hole. So over the last 30, 40 years, Quincy has gone through a resurgence, especially the last 10. And I'm also a city councilor here in Quincy, where I've served since 2016. And so Mayor Tom Koch, who was here earlier today, has been leading a very, very pointed effort on mostly real estate development around residential complexes. So in this Kilroy Square that we sit, this used to be a surface parking lot. This restaurant and red brick building that you referenced was always here, but there was a huge surface lot. So we've got a new 12-story apartment complex, municipal garage, and another complex behind us. But that's the type of growth that we're seeing. So we chose to host Boston Blockchain Week here in Quincy, one, because QUBIC Labs is based here. It's been sort of a concomitant effort to stimulate growth through startup support, but then to create economic development because of this partnership that we've enjoyed with the city of Quincy.
Amazing. So how would you describe Boston Blockchain Week? We have Canada Crypto Week, which happens in Toronto. I did not know about Boston Blockchain Week. I was actually very pleased to hear that there is a Boston Blockchain Week. We've been here for a few days. I mean, I can tell you that the vibe is really nice. You guys are so warm and friendly, and there's something intimate about this conference that a lot of maybe larger conferences wouldn't, be able to maintain. Sure. How do you describe it to people who have no idea what this conference is about, and also in terms of who attends it, who it's for, basically?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been about ecosystem and community building. We took this event over in 2022. It was hosted by a venture capital fund who decided not to host it anymore, and I think there was a little COVID in between that kind of diminished its, usefulness at the time. But what we wanted to do, because what we saw in the Boston area, where people were looking at places like New York and Miami and all these other more friendly crypto environments, and they were moving there. And we knew that there was something about a vibe that needed to be planted here that we could let grow and thrive. And so that's what we've been trying to cultivate. And, every year the vibe grows. Like that seed is now growing out of the ground. It's green. It's beautiful. And this year has certainly been the best.
In what sense?
So, the caliber of speakers has always been good. Our content has always been good. Our attendee growth has certainly risen over the past 4 years, year over year since our first year. And so also the side events and sort of sponsor participation.
I've been to a few.
And organizations like yours jumping on, right? Blockchain North, being a media partner of Boston Blockchain Week, has been a huge addition because it allows us to spread our message. And everything is about conveying a message and amplifying it so that people know that we're here and about what we're doing.
Thank you, by the way, for that. I just gave you an official handshake on camera because those guys reached out to us in like February, and I thought, September. I can't even think, till March at that point. But I'm so glad that we decided to come. And like I said to you, we're definitely going to be coming back. Let me ask you something really important. How do you measure the impact of an event like this one, especially in its 4th year?
So especially from where QUBIC Labs sits, we always, the impact is really in how people interact. So we want startups who are looking for capital to be able to find capital providers. We want startups who are looking for people to join their teams to be able to interact with other people who are looking to join startups. We want institutions to be able to learn what these startups are up to. There are vendors, right? A whole host of vendors that either startups or organizations that are playing in this space need to enlist for their services. So, and then of course now there has been policy, regulatory debates, discussions. All of this is integral in making this industry thrive. And so bringing all those people into one place, having solid conversations, and intimate networking has been our goal, and that's a measurement of success.
Yeah, that's amazing. Final question. So next year will be your 5th year. What are you going to do differently, or what are you already sort of working on in terms of, continuing to grow not just the community and the attendees, but also the impact?
Yeah, great question. We never want to lose the vibe because we've now cultivated the vibe, and so that's integral to all of this.
You have to sort of keep it this sort of size, let's say medium-sized, and not like expand and like sort of triple the audience? Or
you can go to any conference in a hotel. We construct this from the ground up, which does require a lot more work and stress, but that's fine. There's nothing wrong with exclusivity. We want a top caliber conference that people will come from all over the world to attend. Certainly, we would hit a place of growth if we wanted to double or triple the size of what we have today, but we'll figure that out. John and I, John O'Keefe, who's my co-founder of QUBIC Labs, we'll sit down starting tonight and figure out what went well and what didn't, and we'll start to envision what the future could look like for Boston Blockchain Week.
You're going to have to do that before 8:30 because you told me that you wake up at 4 a.m. and get up at 8 or go to bed at 8.
A little bit of flexibility this week. I've properly maintained my schedule this week, but we'll get back into it tomorrow.
Well, congratulations. It's been a lot of fun and it's been a great event.
Thank you for being.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It's a pleasure.
Yeah.